In fine form, Multnomah Lodge No. 84 consecrated its lodge hall, installed officers, and performed 8 degree conferrals on the first night of labor, which lasted 16 hours. The future was bright as far as the eye could see. Still, there was much to be done. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you and published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the world. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this article, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell. This week's article is Once Upon a Time in Oregon Territory, Multnomah Lodge No. 1, by Brother M. Christopher Lee, 32nd degree, read by Brother Matt Bowers, 32nd degree, and comes from the July-August 2026 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. Once upon a time in Oregon Territory, 3 worthy Brother Master Masons, Joseph Hull, Peter G. Stewart, and William P. Dougherty, desired their own Masonic lodge. They had a Holy Bible, square and compasses, but they had no charter from a Grand Lodge authorizing them to meet and work. There was no Grand Lodge in Oregon Territory or Grand Lodge west of the Missouri River to grant them a charter. Nonplussed, the brothers placed an ad in the first issue of the first newspaper ever printed in Oregon Territory, the Oregon Spectator, requesting Master Masons in the area to meet at City Hotel, Oregon City, on February 21st, 1846. 4 additional brothers, Fendel C. Kaysen, Leon A. Smith, Frederick Wymeyer, and Lot Whitcomb answered the call, and they were determined to petition the Grand Lodge of Missouri for a charter. The new lodge would be called Multnomah Lodge. A traveling man was needed to carry the petition from Oregon City to Missouri, and one was found in the person of Joel Palmer, a guide from the Hudson Bay Company. Brother Palmer set off east in the spring and safely delivered the petition to Brother James Spratt in Platte City, Missouri. The petition, endorsed by Platte City Lodge No. 58, was delivered to the Grand Lodge of Missouri in St. Joseph. The Grand Lodge enthusiastically received and granted the petition. The new lodge was designated Multnomah Lodge No. 84. Another traveling man was needed to deliver the charter back to Oregon. No one was forthcoming. 14 long months passed before Brother Spratt entrusted the valuable document to Pierre Cornwall, who was traveling to Oregon with his younger brother and their guide. In Council Bluffs, Iowa, Cornwall and his party fell in with 2 more traveling men, father and son, Orrin and Joseph Kellogg. After waiting a time with patience, they set off west under the fresh canopy of the new spring. The journey was beset with difficulty and danger. The party was harassed and captured by indigenous peoples, released, and then pursued by renegade braves who shot Brother Cornwall in the leg with an arrow. Such hostilities were not the only danger on the rough and rugged road. In Fort Hall, Idaho, Brother Cornwall came down with a fever, gold fever. Trickles of men were moving west toward California to stake their claim. Soon the trickles would become a torrent, and by 49, the torrent would be a raging river. Succumbing to this fever, Brother Cornwall relinquished his obligation and transferred the charter to the Kelloggs. He then followed his heart south to California and proceeded out of this story. The Kelloggs, joined by their families in Fort Hall, continued the trek west. On September 11, 1848, they delivered the charter to the Masons of Oregon City. It had been 2 years, 7 months, and 6 days since the 3 brothers had published their notice in the inaugural issue of the Oregon Spectator. The Masons of Oregon City were elevated with joy. Almost 3 years had passed. They were ready to go to work. Runners were sent, the word was spread, and at noon that day, Freemasons from across the city gathered on the 2nd floor of Campbell and Smith's store on the south end of Main Street. A packing crate served as an altar, a barrel of salt pork as the junior warden's podium, a barrel of whiskey as the senior warden's, and a barrel of flour was placed in the east, alluding collectively, or as close as they could come under those circumstances, to the Masonic wages of corn, wine, and oil. Berryman Jennings, who would become the first Grand Master of the Oregon Grand Lodge, consecrated the hall and installed the officers named in the charter. The lodge was called to labor. The ballot was spread on 3 candidates and pronounced clear: Christopher Taylor, the first man to be made a Mason in Oregon, and Amos L. Lovejoy, received all 3 degrees of Freemasonry that very night. Albert E. Wilson received the first 2 degrees before labor was dispensed with at 4 a.m. In fine form, Multnomah Lodge No. 84 consecrated its lodge hall, installed officers, and performed 8-degree conferrals on the first night of labor, which lasted 16 hours. The future was bright as far as the eye could see. Still, there was much to be done. Over the next 2 years, much of Oregon City succumbed, along with thousands of cities and towns across the still young nation, to gold fever. Mere days after Multnomah Lodge No. 84's first marathon session, 50 covered wagons containing 150 gold hunters left Oregon City out of a population of just over 900, including Worshipful Master Joseph Hull. It is believed that Lot Whitcomb, famous for building the first steamboat in the Northwest, became Worshipful Master of Multnomah Lodge. Unfortunately, all records including the original charter were destroyed in a fire on January 3, 1860. The Grand Lodge of Oregon was formed on September 15, 1851, almost 8 years before Oregon was granted statehood. In the archives are the handmade trunk in which Joseph Kellogg transported Multnomah's Lodge charter after Pierre Cornwall absconded to California, and a powder flask carried by Joel Palmer on his journey east to deliver Multnomah's Lodge petition to Platte City. Multnomah Lodge No. 84 was redesignated Multnomah Lodge No. 1. It is still active today. During its 100th anniversary commemoration, the Grand Lodge of Missouri presented Multnomah Lodge No. 1 with a duplicate of its original charter and a plaque that reads, "The Grand Lodge, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons of Missouri, extends to its daughter, Multnomah Lodge No. 1, greetings on the occasion of its centennial. Should auld acquaintance be forgot."